The Galactic Council's archive chamber hummed with ancient technology, its crystalline walls pulsing with the stored knowledge of 10,000 civilizations. Alice Martinez stood before the central pedestal, her human hands trembling as she uploaded Earth's planetary designation files. It was supposed to be a routine procedure. Every species joining the Council had to submit their homeworld's official records. Nothing special. Nothing dangerous. Carson Webb, her partner in the Human Diplomatic Corps, stood by the entrance, his military background evident in his rigid posture. "Everything okay, Alice?" "Yeah, just finishing up the—" Her words died as the chamber's lights shifted from cool blue to violent crimson. Alarms shrieked through the station, a sound neither human had heard in their 6 months aboard the Council's flagship. Within seconds, the chamber doors exploded inward. Not opened, exploded. The Council's High Arbiter, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline exoskeleton, materialized before them. Behind him came the military commander of the Vrex Empire, all 9 feet of armored fury. Then the Hive Queen of Zeta 9, her 1,000 eyes fixed on Alice with unmistakable terror. "What did you do?" The Arbiter's voice resonated through their skulls. Bypassing the need for translation entirely, Carson moved instinctively between them and Alice, his hand hovering near his sidearm, a weapon that would be utterly useless against beings who could manipulate matter with thought. "We submitted Earth's planetary records as requested. That's all." "That is not all," the Vrex commander growled, his translator struggling to convey the depths of his horror. "You told us your world was called Earth. You said it was a Class M planet in an unremarkable system. You said nothing about—" He couldn't finish the sentence. Alice stepped forward, confusion overriding her fear. "I don't understand. What's wrong with our submission?" The Hive Queen's voices spoke in terrible harmony. "Show them. They deserve to know what they've done." The Arbiter waved one luminous appendage, and the air between them shimmered. Ancient text appeared, written in a language that predated the Council itself. Yet somehow, impossibly, Alice and Carson could read it. Their brains shouldn't have been able to process those symbols, but they did. Planet designation, Deathworld Class Omega. Original name, the Crucible. Warning: sentient life should not exist here. If encountered, extreme caution advised. Carson's face went pale. That's Earth?" "Your planet," the Arbiter said, his voice shaking for the first time in his 3,000-year existence, "is not just a death world. It is the death world, the one we tell our younglings about to teach them that the universe is not kind. The one we use as a worst-case scenario in our survival simulations. The planet where evolution itself went insane." Alice felt her legs weaken. She'd known Earth was dangerous, everyone did, but this? The Vrex commander pulled up holographic data streams. "Your gravity is 1.3 times what we consider survivable for sustained habitation. Your atmosphere has a corrosive oxygen concentration that would kill most species within hours. Your sun bombards you with radiation that should sterilize all surface life. Your plate tectonics are hyperactive. Your weather systems are catastrophic. Your ocean currents could power our cities. And that's before we discuss your megafauna." "Megafauna?" Carson echoed weakly. "Bears!" the Hive Queen shrieked, her voices discordant with panic. "You have animals that weigh half a ton, can run 30 miles per hour and do this for sport. You have serpents that can kill with chemistry. You have insects that drink blood. You have fish with teeth in an aquatic creature. You have storms that can level cities," the Arbiter continued, pulling up imagery that showed hurricanes, tornadoes, and tsunamis. "You have mountains that explode. You have entire continents of frozen death. You have deserts that reach temperatures sufficient to cook protein. And in all of these places you not only survive, you thrive." Alice found her voice defensive now, "So we're resilient." "Is that a crime?" "Resilient?" The Vrex commander laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "We found records of your history in the archives. Do you know what we discovered? Your species was nearly extinct 50,000 years ago, reduced to a few thousand individuals. Any other species would have perished. You colonized the entire planet, every biome, every climate zone. Every death trap your world offered, you moved into it and called it home." The Arbiter pulled up more files. "You domesticated wolves, apex predators with pack-hunting intelligence. You ride animals that could kill you with a single kick. You consume plant matter that other species use as poison, capsaicin, alcohol, caffeine. You ingest these neurotoxins recreationally. Hold on, Carson said, his military mind starting to piece things together.
Why are you panicking?
So we're from a dangerous world. We've been peaceful since we joined the council. The Hive Queen's laughter was the sound of 1,000 screams. Peaceful? You've been here 6 months. In that time, human Carson, you've broken every strength training machine in our gymnasium. You lift weight that our warriors train their entire lives to move. And you do it as exercise. Human Alice, you've been running our marathon courses for fun, completing them in times that break records set by species evolved specifically for endurance. Your reaction times, the Vrex commander added, are 40% faster than the council average. Your pattern recognition abilities exceed our best AI. Your capacity to function under stress makes our special forces look fragile. And most terrifying of all, you think this is normal. Alice and Carson exchanged glances. The pieces were falling into place now, and the picture was disturbing. When we discovered humans, the Arbiter said quietly, we thought you were an anomaly, a species that got lucky, but now we know the truth. You're not lucky. You're the products of a world that spent 4 billion years trying to kill everything on it. You're survivors of a planetary murder machine, and you didn't just survive, you became the dominant species. So what happens now? Alice asked, her voice steadied despite her racing heart. The council members looked at each other. Finally, the Arbiter spoke. Now we give you whatever you want. Because we've run the simulations and we've studied your history. We know what happens when humans are cornered. We know what you're capable of when threatened. We're not a threat, Carson insisted. That's what makes you terrifying, the Vrex commander said. You don't even realize what you are. You're predators who think they're prey. You're weapons who believe they're tools. You're conquerors who consider yourselves explorers. The Hive Queen moved closer, her voice is softer now. Humanity. There are empires in this council that could glass planets. There are species that can manipulate stars. There are collectives that span thousands of worlds. But none of us came from the Crucible. None of us were forged in that fire. And that makes you the most dangerous species in the known galaxy. Alice felt something shift in the room. It wasn't fear anymore, it was respect. Terrified respect, but respect nonetheless, so, she said carefully. When you say you'll give us whatever we want, the Arbiter's crystalline form seemed to sag. Humanity will have a permanent seat on the High Council, full voting rights, access to all archives, and, he paused as if the next words caused him physical pain, command of the Council's military forces. Carson's jaw dropped. You're putting us in charge of your military? Better you fight for us than against us, the Vrex commander said bluntly. We've seen what humans do when you fight. Your history is written in blood and fire, but it's also written in cooperation and building. We're hoping you'll choose the latter path for the galaxy. Alice looked at Carson, seeing her own shock reflected in his eyes. They'd come here as junior diplomats, barely significant enough to handle paperwork. Now they were being handed the keys to galactic power. We'll need to contact Earth, Alice said finally. This decision isn't ours alone to make. Of course, the Arbiter agreed. But understand this. The moment that transmission reaches your homeworld, every species in the Council will be watching, because now they know the truth. They know that somewhere in an unremarkable arm of an ordinary galaxy, there's a planet that eats civilizations for breakfast. And on that planet, there's a species that looked at extinction and said no thanks. As the Council members filed out, leaving Alice and Carson alone in the archive chamber, the two humans stood in silence. Finally, Carson spoke. Did we just accidentally take over the galaxy? Alice laughed, the sound slightly hysterical. I think we just scared the galaxy into giving itself to us. What do we do now? She looked at the swirling data around them, the records of Earth's true nature, the testimony of a world that refused to be anything but alive. Now we call home. And we hope humanity is ready to be what the galaxy thinks we already are. And what's that? Alice smiled grimly. Survivors. The transmission went out that night, traveling at faster than light speeds toward a small blue planet orbiting an unremarkable yellow star. And across the Council's thousands of worlds, species that had dominated the galaxy for millennia went to sleep wondering if they'd made the right choice. On Earth, in countless languages, the message was received, and humanity, as it always had, adapted. Because that's what you do when you're from the Crucible. You survive, you thrive, and you reach for the stars, even when the stars are terrified of you.